Nighthawks All Access returns. My favorite segment of the show, Nighthawks Spotlight, and here in Bob Stein Stadium. And pleased to be joined by Andres Perez. Welcome, sir.
Welcome. Thank you very much.
Good to have you with us, and what a treat to be able to visit with you in one of the nicest collegiate stadiums anywhere in the country. How did you wind up picking UNG? Of course, you prepped right down the road at Pinecrest Academy. We'll talk about that in a bit. What was it that made UNG stand out for you?
Well, initially, the first time I came into contact with UNG was actually through Troy Snicker. I didn't want to say I grew up with him, but I grew up going to Braves games with him because his dad was with the Braves and my father was also with the Braves. So we knew each other mutually. And I remember him coming, we were at a game, and he said, "Hey, have you ever heard of North Georgia?" And I said, "A little bit, don't really know much about it." And he said, "Okay, well, be on the lookout because we're interested in you. We want to see if you can be a good fit." So surely enough, I think the next year they started coming to my games over the summer and at my school. And it kind of hit off from there. I came on to visit. I fell in love with this place. The coaching staff, Coach Cantrell is one of the best coaches I've ever had. And then how could you not fall in love with this beautiful field and
absolutely
what's going on in this beautiful city of Dahlonega? It's awesome.
Got here to North Georgia, made an impact as a freshman, a sophomore, some phenomenal numbers. Then were preseason All-America coming in, and then the injury to your shoulder, the torn labrum, I believe it was. And that really, I'm sure, was a whirlwind for you. Talk us through that process when you go from having everything rolling along for your junior year and then being set aside with the injury.
Yeah, it was tough. It was an eye-opening experience, to say the least. Like you said, I played my freshman and sophomore year here, and everything was seeming to keep growing up and improving. My freshman year was good, not anything crazy. Of course, as a team, we did amazing. We went to the World Series. It was an experience I'll never forget. My sophomore year, I did a lot better. I grew up a lot. I matured in my game and as a person. And everything seemed to be going kind of my way and how I had hoped and planned it would be. And then, unfortunately, I did suffer a torn labrum, and it kind of shook my world. I wasn't necessarily prepared out of all the possibilities that could happen. It was never one, for example, to have a torn labrum or be sidelined for an injury. So a lot of maturity and lessons to be learned throughout the process. I became a better person. I feel like I've become a better teammate, try to be more selfless, not be worried about myself and not feel sorry for myself throughout the process, which is something that this coaching staff has helped a lot. And they were always there supportive of me, but they never wanted to make this about me. They never gave an excuse like, "Oh, Andres isn't playing," all this stuff, which I didn't want, because I know that my team is more than capable of going out there and performing and winning a championship, which we did last year. So in that sense, I learned a lot to be a good teammate and help from a leader standpoint more than just be selfish. "Oh, what am I doing today? How am I going to help the team?" from a playing standpoint. So
the phenomenal blessing of having a father who was a major league player for the Braves, still involved in the organization with player development, and knowing that you've had a major league catcher to nurture you and your development as a player all the way. What's that been like?
There's not really one word to describe it. Blessed, again, is the best way to say it. Not many people get the opportunity to work with, let alone grow up with, somebody that has the repertoire and the background that my father has. So I've tried to take it as much, be like a sponge around him.
Sure.
Take everything and anything that I can from him and his experiences growing up here. Obviously, he has everything that a lot of us here and a lot of baseball players have, and he's reached the levels that we want to reach. So he has a lot to offer. He has a lot to give, but he knows how to balance the life part of it and the baseball part. So it's been a really good experience to have a good dad and a good coach for life, not just baseball.
And my
mom as well. She's been when my dad's the baseball and he's always out doing his playing or coaching stuff, my mom's always been the one at home taking me to the games, being my number one fan, my number one supporter whenever my fathers can't be there, and they've always been supportive from day one, and they continue to be.
What a phenomenal combination of things to create your upbringing and the opportunities that you've had that bring you here today. The success on the field, success in the classroom. I know a lot has transpired since you've been here in Dahlonega. One of the questions that I always have to ask is, if you were going to look back at your time here, what would be some of the top items, the top things that you've experienced?
From a personal standpoint, I think the top one is my freshman year when we did make it to the we made it to the regional and we ended up making it to the World Series. I remember the regional championship. We were up by 1, and I actually suffered a big error in the game, which had them tie the game. And I came up the top of the 9th, I think it was top of the 9th or bottom of the 8th, and I actually hit the go-ahead winning home run. So it was a really big moment for me to grow up and not let my setbacks kind of mold me into not really let it affect me. So kind of grew up there, and I showed that I matured, and it was really something special for me because it was a big stage, and it was something that our program has never been there before. So being able to move from the regional to the World Series for something that I kind of helped and helped come to fruition was really important to me, and it's something that I'll never forget. And then from just in general experience here is not necessarily one, but just to have a family of brothers and a family from the coaching staff to the athletic department to teachers, classmates, roommates, teammates. Just every experience, every opportunity I have to spend time with them and to laugh, just be teenage boys or college adults just out here practicing or just having cookouts or going to other sports events, anything that we're together and just having a good time. Just sometimes it's good to take a step back and really appreciate what you have, and these moments that I will, for one, never forget and have to the rest of my life. And the friendships and the relationships I've had here are ones that are really important to me and I really cherish. So I think those two are top.
That's fantastic, and it's interesting that you, as part of that description, you mentioned being able to share a laugh with your teammates and whatnot. And I have it on good authority that you are responsible for, on a regular basis, I don't know if it's a joke of the day, but on a pretty regular basis within the department.
I do, yeah. I like to spread happiness or laughter. Sometimes it's more of a laugh at me than it is at the actual joke. They're just dad jokes, corny little jokes, but just anything that I could kind of make a difference, kind of leave my legacy on that day, or just
I like it.
Kind of bring a smile when people may need it, whatever. So I think that's kind of where it started. I get my jokes just from other people, from the internet. It's just anything that comes throughout my day. Try to just spread happiness and positivity.
Well, that is something to be congratulated on, because keeping people with a positive outlook, glass half full, is the way to go through life, and you obviously exemplify that. We greatly appreciate you being with us here on Nighthawk All Access as our Nighthawk Spotlight.
Thank you very much.
Indeed, and best of luck to this season.
Yes, sir.
Stay with us. Nighthawk All Access continues in just a moment.